Sports Podcast. It is January 27th. We are coming up on AFC and NFC Championship weekend. We've also got UK and U of L basketball in action and a little bit of football stuff to discuss. So we're going to roll in with that. Drizzy's here. Tstalls, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing well, man. Still waiting for another win for the for 2023. Still waiting for a Louisville win, but the football team's bringing in a lot of wins in the recruiting trail. And like you said, man, I'm super excited for all the playoff games we have this weekend. I'm ready to see Joe Burrow do his thing, but as I told you earlier, they're poking the bear, saying Mahomes isn't that guy and he's not healthy, but I'm ready to see that game, and then of course Jalen Hurts. I'm ready to see what he can do.
Yeah, that Eagles Niners game is definitely going to be a really great matchup. Bengals Chiefs with or without Mahomes being injured. And I've seen the videos from him in practice and whatnot. I mean, he's walking perfectly fine. That's a hell of a recovery.
Yeah.
From how bad he was limping all that game Saturday to no boot and just walking around. I mean, like they had to put a whole new ankle up in him.
Yeah,
I
man.
swear.
Temper tantrum he was throwing on the sideline. I'm pretty sure you're used to temper tantrums with Carter, but the way he was acting on the sideline was like you would think he broke his ankle and he didn't want them to X-ray it because he knew he'd be out. But I mean, like you just said, he's walking fine. After an interview, he's like jumping down the steps. So you're like, oh, this guy has a new ankle. What the heck?
New ankle or a bunch of painkillers. Who knows? But I mean, Joe Burrow and the Bengals gonna go back into Burrow head, as they've been calling it. You got everyone calling it Burrow head now, even Chiefs members. And this going back and forth. It's gonna be a pretty. We'll start with that one. This is gonna be a pretty legit game, I think. They've Burrow's 3-0 over Mahomes past 2 years. All three games have been decided by 3 points.
Wow.
So very close games can be decided one way or the other, turnover wise, which I think is the key to the game is control Kelsey. Last time I think he had 6 catches for 56 yards. He didn't get his first catch till the third quarter in that Week 13 game in Cincinnati. So if you can replicate that and live with what else happens on the outside, I think there's a great chance that the Bengals maybe not dominate this game like they dominated the Bills, but that they'll control the game again and we'll get another victory. I got 34-31 Bengals. I'm gonna stick with the 3 points.
Yeah.
Pushing, which is a little bit, more favorable. Joe Burrow's never scored more than 27 points in a postseason game. Learned that earlier today. Learned a little stat. So we'll see.
This is a game to do it.
It's a game to do it, and I think they're ready for it. I mean, they did it last year, and they're a hell of a lot better this year than last year, I think. So,
yeah, I think it definitely does help. I know we're saying, it does look like he has a new ankle or whatnot, but in the back of his mind, Patrick Mahomes' mind is like, I'm sure he's got to have that somewhere, some way. No matter how many painkillers you take, whatever, you're going to feel that ankle a little bit, especially if it's going to be cold. You're going to feel that, and I think the defense mindset for the Bengals has to be put pressure on them. Obviously, you're going to have to double team Kelsey. There's no way around it. You have to double team him, have safety help over top, and make sure you have a linebacker or a DB or edge out there, nickel out there to put some pressure on him, beat him up a little bit, which we try. We've seen the Jaguars try that last week, and he just made them look silly. But, you really got to put your hands on them early, but you have to make sure that pass rush gets to Patrick Mahomes, because even with a bad ankle last week, he was still hobbling around on that one leg and making stuff happen. But I think this is the best time for them to repeat and go to the Super Bowl again. And I think, like you said, 34-31 sounds about right. But I'll say Joe Burrow never scored more than 27.
Never more than 27 in the postseason.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this will be the game he does. I think it'll be around, I'll give Bengals 30, Chiefs 24. 30-24. I think Patrick Mahomes will get that last chance to go down and win it at the end of the game, but I think the defense is going to be key in that moment. That's my prediction, 30-24.
30-24. Yeah. So both taking Bengals in that one. I do think getting pressure on Mahomes is definitely a key, expect with or without the ankle, just getting pressure on it. I know you get him out of the pocket, he can still make plays. He's got sidearm, he got whatever he can, he's the best athletic combo throwing quarterback probably out there. Lamar, great at the run part, but his accuracy with the passing is not as good and cannot place it as well as Mahomes can.
Yeah.
Uh, Not a shot at anyone. That's just literally like
Oh, yeah.
something only mostly he can do.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think the Bengals going with kind of the same game plan, offense wise. Take what they give you, move the ball down the field.
Hmm.
I was watching Undisputed this morning, just a clip of it, and Shannon Sharp was going over the statistics of the Bengals offense versus Kansas City's defense. And
Hmm.
it's just like Bengals are all in the top 7 of the categories he listed, and then Chiefs are in the back half, 16th, 18th, 31st. I think the 31st was in red zone touchdowns or scoring allowed. And
Hmm.
it's just like when it comes down to it, you're going to have to hold people to 3 instead of 7 points, and their defense in the red zone hasn't been doing that. So it'll all be take what the defense gives you, take your shots. Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard on that line, defensive line, getting to the quarterback, just applying pressure. I think it'll be all right. I really do. I'm pretty confident, not cocky, but confident.
Yeah.
uh, I was confident last weekend going into it too against the Bills. I'm like, we got this. Like, you don't really feel that way as a
Yeah.
Bengals fan, but you now you do. And so the tide has changed. I do think that one's going to be the Bengals are going to come out in that one. I did look. I was like, I told Whitney, I was like, my taxes are coming in next week. I was like, hey, I'm gonna look and see if what these Super Bowl tickets cost. I might, if Bengals make it, I might buy me a ticket and just fly out there. Nah, the 5 rows from the top of the stadium is $5,922 for one ticket, and I was like, you gotta be,
I
you gotta
mean,
be kidding me, man.
you're at the game. Yeah, that's cool, but sitting that high up for that price, yeah, 5,000 is just. I'm
That's
good.
almost $6,000.
I'm good.
That's ridiculous.
I'm good, man. I remember they did a comparison with another game. Um, I think it was the NBA playoffs compared obviously to the Super Bowl. You got, NBA playoffs is a for sure 4 games, but I think it's just way too much money you're spending on the Super Bowl. I get it. Most of the tickets are going to, players in the league. I believe every player gets 2 tickets. But I mean, obviously, not all of them are going to go to the game because why go to the game that you want to be playing in? So
Yeah.
I know that much, but honestly, $5,000, nah. Even if I had it and I was willing to throw away 5,000, I don't think I would do it either. I'd rather sit at home, have my family with me, have some buffalo chicken dip, have some pizza, some chicken wings. Man, I'm excited for food. I'm I'm excited for the food. But yeah, my mom makes a Super Bowl casserole. I'm ready for that. So I wouldn't spend the 5,000 on it for sure.
Yeah, I was like, maybe if I had FU money, if I had FU money, I would be like, yeah, my team was in it. I wouldn't go if my team wasn't in it. You know what I mean? Like if Bengals weren't in it, I wouldn't even think twice about going. It wouldn't even be a thought in my head. But so that was a pipe dream that blew up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Um, Eagles 49ers, two. We got top offense in the Eagles, top defense in the 49ers. And the Eagles defense isn't that bad either.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm going 24-17 Eagles, a little bit lower scoring because of the defenses.
Yeah.
Um, I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Brock Purdy, more
Hmm.
so just experience wise,
Hmm.
from college and NFL. Jalen Hurts has a lot more games under his belt, high profile games under his belt, I'll say.
Yeah. I think this defense of the Eagles is underrated. I mean, 49ers are the better defense by far, but I think the Eagles defense brings another element into it. Um, I feel like they're going to put that pressure on Brock Purdy the right way. Not saying no other team didn't, but the Cowboys offensively just couldn't get it done. I mean, if you follow the Cowboys' defensive play in that game, I mean, you're good. They only gave up, 19 points, which they shouldn't have gave up that many. But I mean, if the offense did what they're supposed to, winning and scored when they were on the goal line, I mean, it'll be Cowboys versus Eagles, which I wanted to see. But I mean, hey, Brock Purdy is having an unreal rookie year. Back half of rookie year, taking over this team after both Garoppolo and Trey Lance go out. It's a credible story, but I think this is where the story is going to end for sure. I mean, if it doesn't, this is one heck of a script that they wrote. And I think it's funny to say the script that they wrote because Trevor Lawrence said that and everybody thinks the NFL is scripted and whatnot. But I think this is one heck of a script to write for Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, that's how you want to go into next year because everybody wants Trey Lance to be the guy. But the way he's playing, I think he's going to put up a heck of a fight next year on making his case of, well, hey, look what I did. I got to the NFC Championship game. If they win, even better for him. If they lose, it's still like, I got you here or help get you here. But you also got to look at who he has around him. It's a cheat codes all around him. McCaffrey, cheat code. Kettle, cheat code. Debo Samuels, cheat code. I mean, your defense is a cheat code. He has the most help that Mr. Irrelevant, the last quarterback, last player taken, you need all the help you need, and he's got it. So he has the right recipe. Is just, does he have, the right stuff in him in these big time moments against Jalen Hurts, who's shown all year long he has it. And he showed it at Alabama, he showed it at Oklahoma, and he's showing it now with Philadelphia. And I think they're not going to stop Jalen Hurts and what he's trying to accomplish here with Philadelphia.
No, and I mean, what San Francisco has is what I heard was like, it's a great system, and you don't need to have a fantastic quarterback. You just need a quarterback that can game manage, make the right decisions, not turn the ball over. And that's basically what he's done.
Yeah, plug and play with a quarterback. Anybody can play there with all those weapons. Yeah.
All the weapons, the defense. I mean, defense is gonna keep you in any game. You just gotta capitalize on mistakes that the other team's defense makes. So,
you know who else they said that about? They said that about Jalen Hurts too this year. They said, "Oh, look what he has around him. Look at that defense. That's why they're undefeated." And what happened there? His first two games that he didn't play because he was injured,
they lost.
In New Orleans. I'm sorry, they lost in New Orleans, but still, it's like,
yeah, they lost the second last game.
Yeah,
that's what, because they beat the Giants in that last game.
So it's like, come on now. I mean, don't say Jalen Hurts is a plug-in. I mean, this offense is a plug and play because Jalen Hurts is that guy. So
yeah. So what is your score prediction for that game?
Score prediction, yes. I agree the defense is going to be tough in this one, so I'm going to go. What'd you have?
I had 24-17 Eagles.
I didn't want to copy you, but that is right where I wanted to put it. So I'll go 28-21.
28-21 Eagles.
Yep, Eagles. I got Eagles going.
Gotcha. So now, yeah, that wraps up the preview for this weekend of the playoff action. There's gonna be some good games. I mean, I think a lot of people probably want to see Bills and Chiefs. I'm just gonna get into it. Josh Allen's not overrated. He's a great quarterback, but at the same time, man, I don't know if it's on him. I don't know if it's on the OC or what, because man, that they just did not adjust in that game against the Bengals at all.
I think it's on both of them, OC and Josh. I mean,
well, you got to take some shots sometimes. You got to take calculated shots.
Yeah,
not
every play though. They were taking shots every play.
And I mean, like, you had the snow, and you had looking up for the ball, and like you had the Bengals dinking and dunking 75 yards down the field, down your throat. You just didn't like, hey, let's try that. Let's just try that for once. Let's just dink and dunk down the field, do some slants, little cross routes. I mean, what? No, nothing.
Was their game plan not to give? I know it's not, but it seems like Diggs was like sitting right there in the cushion. So I mean, obviously, with our vision, we can't see the full field. We can only see pretty much linebacker to Josh Allen. That's what we can see. But I feel like there's some way, somehow. I don't care if he's double teamed; they still find a way. Any other player, I mean, quarterback will find their playmaker. Joe Burrow, he finds his playmaker in Chase. But for some reason, Josh Allen in these moments, he does not look for Diggs. And it's like, who has been your safety blanket all year long? Diggs. So why
You just get it in the general area of him as long as it's not double, triple team, and just give him a chance. I
going to make
mean,
it happen?
yeah,
And
I
if he
mean,
doesn't, then okay, it won't be on you because you try to get it to your playmaker. But I don't know. They just had a great game plan for them. The Bengals did exactly what they're supposed to do defensively, apparently. And I don't know. Josh Allen, I wouldn't say he's overrated either. It's just I think he just doesn't do well in those high pressure games yet. I mean, he's still a young guy, regardless. He's still a young guy. What he's like 27, 26,
like
27.
that.
He's still a young guy. So I definitely see them, going again, being in this situation again. I think next year can be another big year for them. They just gotta, I don't know, get more weapons around them apparently. Cause I mean, Gabe Davis is a great complementary player to Diggs, but you got to have somebody else out there. Running back wise, I feel like the running back room has been injured or off and on. At least Singletary wasn't that productive fantasy football wise to me, so can't really
Yeah.
tell you what he's been doing. But I feel like they just don't have that element like the Bengals do. Weapons everywhere with Mixon and Chase and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Like they have the weapons offensively. Josh Allen is like a dual threat quarterback. We were just saying about Mahomes. He's one of those guys that's accurate when he throws, and he can also hurt you with your legs. And I don't know. They need to get somebody else out there. I don't know who else is out there for him because the word on the street is Diggs is 1 and out, which rightfully so. Let's see where
But at
he's.
that point, when does it become a you problem? Because he did the same thing to Minnesota. Wanted out, he got out. So now he's like, I get this one, like this go around, like he's not getting the ball
Mhm.
in these
But
game
look what happened when
situations.
Minnesota got him the ball, though. Yeah, the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I was more on the safety. That was more on the safety, but by any means. Like I don't know what the safety was doing. I forgot what player.
I'd have taken a penalty rather than just letting them score, and
Yeah.
then just figuring out something. I mean, I don't remember the score of the game. It could have been tied, which would have put them in field goal range, and that probably sounds stupid. So I don't remember the score of that before that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Bills got a lot of issues to address.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Bengals are going to have that coming up too because they're going to have to pay people. At
Oh,
first, they got to pay Joe, and then they got to pay T, and then they got to pay Tyler and
yeah.
Jamar. I mean, so at some point, those weapons aren't going to be there. So you do want to capitalize early while still on all these rookie contracts. But then at the same time, you capitalize early, and that just makes their next contracts go up because of what they've done.
Hmm.
Uh, I'd say that play in the back of the end zone where Joe threw it. I mean, like if you
Yeah.
saw that from behind, if you saw that angle from behind and that tight window that he got that in,
Hmm.
I mean, I've rewatched it many times. I still think is a touchdown
I,
because here's the thing. I don't know. Like us, we always say we don't know what constitutes a catch
yeah, they got to redefine that stuff or something because,
because he had it,
yeah.
and I swear he had 1, 2 toe heel tap the third, and then the ball moves after. I feel like if you got that third, you toe tap, and then a heel 3 separate
That's
times, and then
done.
it turns like that should be done
Yeah.
because you're in the end zone. That should be a touch. It doesn't matter at that point. The
Mhm.
ball moves after you're flying out of bounds. Like you got 3 feet down, that is a touchdown. And but my favorite play that would have been my favorite play if it would have stood. My favorite play, and I saw it happen when I just saw that pump fake to get that second touchdown that won to Hurst, where he
Mhm.
had Jamar right there on the outside, run a little hook route, did the
Yeah.
little pump fake. Just I saw it happening, and I was like, I jumped up. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
that was just sick. That's just so sick of a
Yeah.
play.
Joe Burrow, this offense is fun to watch. It sucks, obviously it's money, man. You got to have the budget to have all those players around. And that's the price you pay when you draft well and you build them up. It
I
is
mean,
what
they've
it is,
done,
but you got to capitalize. I think this is the year they have to capitalize.
yeah.
They
Because I
got to
mean, he can get a contract after this year, and he's probably going to get a contract after this year. But from what I've understood, what I've word on Twitter and seeing around the street, like they've had a really successful year monetary wise. I
Mhm.
don't know how it plays out with losing that Bills game because obviously all the tickets got refunded. That's a big loss in ticket revenue.
Yeah.
Uh, but he sold the naming rights to the stadium at the beginning of the year. Um, they've done a lot of that throughout the year, securing different naming rights deals for stadiums and all sorts of different stuff. So I mean, I think what I've heard is they put themselves in a position where they can make considerable deals because they've got this upfront cash now from a lot of different sources instead
Yeah.
of just sitting on their butt and just not getting that extra revenue in. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously that playing the salary cap.
Hmm.
From what I
Definitely
understand, the
exciting.
salary cap's not even a thing. You really just you could put a bunch of guaranteed bonuses in there, signing bonuses every year. Don't
Hmm.
go towards the cap. Keep that cap number down on everybody. And see, we'll get around to that in the off season once more talk comes around after the draft and stuff. So, but I guess we can move on. I'll keep it positive.
There you
So
go.
I'll, I'll,
Positivity.
I'll talk about Kentucky,
There you go.
because there's nothing positive coming from Louisville other than your football recruiting.
Nah, yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So, uh, well, it says Kentucky's on a 4 game win streak, and they look pretty dang good on this 4 game win streak. Um, Kansas is on a 3 game losing streak. So Kentucky, Kansas tomorrow, 8 o'clock, ESPN. Um, Kentucky on a 4 game win streak. Kansas 3 game losing streak. Bill Self at Kansas has never lost 4 straight games before, so this could be a first. And you've got College Game Day crew comes down for the game after their show at Tennessee earlier in the day, so they'll be down to do College Game Day at nighttime from there. So I mean, it's a big time game. Kentucky's still not ranked, which rightfully so. They did, the resume hasn't been there. I think they will be ranked after this weekend because I honestly do think that they will win. Um, a lot of these last few year matchups against Kansas have gone our way, especially on the home side of things, home and away games. I mean, remember last year, Kentucky walked into Kansas and just mopped the floor with them
Yeah.
at Kansas. Um,
Who
I
Kansas
think
just lose to? They just lost to somebody too. Was it DC?
ECU just beat the
Yeah.
brakes off of Kansas.
Yeah.
K
So
State beat the brakes off of Kansas. I mean, Kansas looked really good early. Now they're not so good. Kansas still ranked number 9 though. Still great. They got a
yeah.
great resume. They've only lost a net ranking quad one team. So I mean, it'd be a fantastic win to add to ours and
Hmm.
building that tournament resume. We moved up from first 4 out to first 4 buys,
Yeah.
4 buys, 4 in. So we're getting there. And I think I got 82-68 Kentucky. I don't think it's actually going to be that close throughout the whole game.
I gotta tell you, the Big 12 is right there with, I guess, prime AC, not ACC, prime Big Ten basketball. They are they are playing pretty well. I mean, TCU, like you just said, beat Kansas. Texas is playing well. Kansas State is playing well. I mean, we have a lot of teams that are, I mean, playing pretty well out of
Yeah.
their league. I mean, the SEC, of course, has their teams with Alabama and Tennessee, and Kentucky slowly, I'm sure, is going to make its way back in. But man, it's the tides have turned when it comes to dominance in basketball for these conferences. Usually, SEC has nothing but football, but now you're getting basketball side of it. Big Ten has always been like that dominant force in basketball. And I mean, obviously, Purdue's number 1 in the Big Ten, number 1 ranking, but
But,
still, I mean,
but Purdue is just not Purdue. Big Ten as a whole
mhm.
just hasn't really done anything.
They're not doing well this year.
What, 22 years?
Yeah.
Last title was 2000 with Michigan State.
They
I
do
mean,
well in the regular season. It's always postseason they get exposed, kind of like in football.
yeah, I mean, you're Big Ten standings right now. Purdue 9-1.
Hmm.
Second in the Big Ten right now. Rutgers 6-3.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Ohio State's not good. Minnesota's
Ohio
not good.
State's three and
Right.
six in the Big Ten. Michigan was supposed to be good. They're 5-4 in the Big Ten.
I was usually good, but again, they're regular season studs, postseason bums.
Yeah,
Illinois, Indiana started out so great, and as you know, I'm a part-time Indiana fan. But Indiana started out so great, and I don't know, they lost their groove. Their star player was out for a couple weeks, and they lost their groove there. And then they had a couple bad calls in another game that they should have won but lost. But they bounced back. They got a win the other night. Um, you know, try to stay away from Louisville as long as possible. But we got, Indiana's on a 4-game winning streak themselves, just like Kentucky. They beat Wisconsin, beat Illinois, they beat Michigan State, just beat Minnesota, and they play Ohio State tomorrow night. So, I mean, they're starting to get their groove back.
yeah. And looking over at Big 12, they've got 6 teams ranked.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in the top 17, three in the top 10, three in the top 10, and then you got 11 and 12 and 17. I mean, all in all, it's a pretty strong field.
Yeah.
I'd say they'll get 6 teams in the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
barring
ACC
some.
has two. We got three. Sorry, we got
How do you
Virginia.
get like who do you, I mean,
We got
right now
Virginia,
Clemson would
Miami.
make it, Virginia,
Yeah, Virginia. No
Miami.
prep
I
watching
mean,
their games, but
you don't really have like it's not a strong ACC.
no. This is the last couple of years have been a down when obvious. I mean, honestly, I'm not even just saying because I'm a Louisville fan, but when Louisville's having a bad year in whatever sport, I feel like it's always been a down year for ACC.
And
Uh,
those are the times that you wish you had your best years because you
exactly,
can make the biggest splash. Because
exactly.
look at Clemson. Clemson is 17-4,
Yep,
9-1 in the ACC,
yep,
and they're ranked 24th.
yep.
So
Duke
not a strong resume at all to only be ranked 24th.
Duke is receiving votes, so they're probably ranked 26th in this poll out of all schools, but they're receiving votes. But Duke's not that great, and they had the #1 recruiting class.
They had what rivals Kentucky's recruiting class for next year when you're
Yeah,
talking about
one
top
player.
25 guys when you got 5 of the
Mhm.
top 10 as they probably had this year, I think, or
That's
close
wild.
to it. I mean, that's just man, it's just ridiculous.
I don't know if it's John Shire or what, but hopefully he gets it together, man. I want. I mean, I have no hate towards. I'm starting to grow that hate towards Duke, but I used to like Duke a little bit. I mean, I even liked Zion Williamson when he was there. I liked him a little bit, but I'm getting that hatred for him now.
Well, the Duke teams of the past, 5 years, 5 or 6 years, has been guys that aren't Duke guys. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because like you look at John Shire, that's a Duke guy.
yeah, I
Filipowski,
know what you mean. I got you. I got you.
Filipowski, dude, this
Yeah.
year looks like a Duke guy. That dude don't look like he could have gone anywhere else in college and looked where he fit in.
Mm.
He just like you think of JJ Redick, you think of uh Christian Leitner. I mean, like you got those Duke guys. I mean, it just really the guys the past few years have been likable because
Yeah.
they've been really good, really talented,
Only been there
and
for 1 year. Yeah,
yeah.
and so
Um,
we'll see. Hopefully, ACC bounces back. I mean, I don't know what the promises Louisville's in. You got anything more for Kentucky before I go into Louisville?
let's look at SEC standings. You got Alabama, 3 ranked teams: Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, 2, 4, and 15. Um, Kentucky's creeping back up those standings, 5-3 in the conference after going 1-3 to start. Um,
Starting to play well when you want to play well, though. This is when you want to hit this groove. So this
mhm.
is the time.
Yeah, they're hitting the right groove, not kicking all cylinders yet, which you don't want yet.
Yeah.
But they're refining first and second gear and they're getting into it. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a great end of the season. I think it all shows that what everyone needs to adopt, and not only what we watch in sports but in life, a little bit of patience. The
Yeah.
world is not ending when we think it is, when we're 8-3 in the middle of December.
Yeah.
So
Try being 2-17, okay?
well, it wasn't that bad. I think we ended up 9-16 that year. But yeah.
Well, speaking of my 2-17 team, positivity. You know, I don't want to be the same guy. Like, I mean, it's what we have to talk about as Louisville, Louisville fans and all the radio shows I listen to for Louisville sports radio. Obviously, we have to talk about it. You can't just say, we lost again, blah, blah, blah. This one was a little bit different. I didn't get to watch the full game. I was working, but from what I've seen on highlights, we started out great in the first half. We did great. We were up, leading that half. And then what we always do, we give off these big runs where the team goes on a 12-0 or 20-5 run, and they just, blow it wide open. But Louisville started out hot, flamed out quickly. We ended up losing 75-65 to Boston College on Wednesday. But we had some great plays from Sidney Curry, who had a crazy dunk in that game. Mike James played well. L. Ellis did as usual, 17 points. And as I mentioned in the last podcast, we had a new player added, Emmanuel Okafor. I believe that's how you say it now. I'm probably going to butcher it until he actually plays in the game, which kind of tells you he did not play in this game. We don't know why. So I'm pretty sure you're asking, why is he not playing? We don't know either. I'm pretty sure it has to do with, him not having that experience, and he doesn't want to throw him out there, put like a deer in the headlights kind of feel. But the kid was playing with grown men over in Africa. I think he can handle playing against, no offense,
Boston College.
Boston College. I think he could have handled that. I think that was actually the perfect game to have him play in. But no, a lot of KP's moves, or lack thereof, have been head scratchers. A lot of my Louisville fans and people that have watched Louisville play this year doing the same thing. We're scratching our heads at what KP's doing. I've said his name numerous times. Fabio Vasili should be playing, but apparently he's invisible on the bench. But you know who's not invisible? Zed Payne. And I get it, man. If my son was on my team, I would want him to play. But I heard it said before, I believe it was Marcus Mabe who said it. You either want your son to be the best player on the team or the worst player on the team. No in between. You either want him to be the best player because you know he can play, give him the ball, cool, I feel good, or you want him to be the worst. It's like, it's all right, son. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun. We're winning. Let's just have fun. But no, you're playing this man. And I just don't see why. You can say all you want during practice. He's hustling for the ball and doing all this, but Scott, you got to tell me, you gave Fabio Basili a scholarship this last minute to come play for Louisville, but he's not good enough to play over Zed Payne?
If you're playing Zan Payne, you're not playing to win. And
You're not.
I like the kid. He was on my team for years. But I mean, if you're trying to figure out your future, Zan Payne is not in your future. He's gone after this year. Just because he's a kid don't mean he gets to play. Brad Calipari played very, very, very sparingly.
Probably when
No,
you're about 60, he was still thinking, should I play him?
he still waited to them last 2 minutes to put anybody in. Sometimes the last minute.
Thank you.
But I mean, I think I don't know, man. This is the perfect year to just let them go out there and play free and figure out who the hell can play. At this
Like,
point, your
why
season is
not, man?
done.
Why
You
not let Fabio go out there and get a turnover or two or three? Hell, Ellis does it 10 times a game. I mean, not so recently, but he's been doing it 10 times a game. You tell me you can't put Fabio out there? We're 2-17. KP, we have nothing else to lose. You have a job to lose if you don't start showing something. But
critical positivity. Remember, critical positivity.
Constructive. So being constructive here, how are we going to fix this, KP? At this point, actually from, probably 2 months ago, after probably the 12th game, we should have known this. Let's play our young guys, or we're going to have a situation where everybody on this team is not going to stay bought into this process and they're going to leave. Fabio Basili can leave. Devin Reed can leave. Mike
Mike
James,
James.
he's showing that he can go play somewhere else. He's rising his stock up. El Ellis will not buy into another year.
Can
Um,
he?
he
Can
he he can potentially get one more year. It's going to be one of those they fight for it, and he has to really want it. Which at this point, he's probably saying, "Why should I?" But I'm gonna cut KP some slack because I've listened to everybody giving him slack after slack and then thrashing him and whatnot. We did lose a lot of our players from last year. Our team last year was not good either. But then you cut what was good in half. We lost 8 players last year, and not just because they were seniors. No, they transferred out. We lost Noah Locke. We lost, and you're telling me we're replacing, Noah Locke, Matt Cross, Dre Davis, Samuel Williamson, and Gabe Woods, who didn't play that much. Josh Nickelberry, who didn't play that much. Quinn Slazinski, who's not playing that much, or Aiden Agahan, who didn't play that much. But you're telling me in a revamped offense with KP, who's supposed to be kind of like a motivator and a guru, a whisperer to these players and make them play well, as he did with Julius Randle. He had a breakout year, KP's first year with the Knicks, and Julius Randle played like an all-star that year. I think he could have been that for these players that just left Louisville. And I speak of them because, WDRB, last name, but Rick Bozick, he released an article about the 8 former players at Louisville. And all those 8 former players I just mentioned, they're all elsewhere. What we have now is not enough for KP. And to say, you had all this time, which he did. He had all this time to get people in here. We took forever to get our coaches in here. We took forever to get a strength and conditioning coach in here. But we did have that cloud over our head. I'm tired of hearing the cloud now too, but it's true. We had a cloud over our heads, and you're telling me you're going to get a kid to transfer into here? I don't think so. Now is the time to start recruiting. So this is constructive for you, KP. Start recruiting now. I said it in the last podcast. Football is bringing recruits to your game, but we're not hearing anything about your recruits at our game. I mean, anything coming into town, anything. So it's time to start recruiting. Start, instead of scouting teams, just go watch some high school kids play basketball, man, and start getting into their ears now. Like, hey, and we have the money for you. It's just we got to do something, man. I'm a loss for words. I've never been at this point with a Louisville basketball team. I made a tweet last year, I think this day or a day ago. I tweeted out, "This isn't a Louisville team. I'm done." Little did I know, a year later, I was going to have an even worse feeling about a Louisville team. So, KP, start recruiting. You'll get some players in here, hopefully. If not, man, it's okay to not be good at this job. You know what you're good at in this job. You're good at being a good cop and being a guru and whispering at the NBA level. Go back to the NBA. I'm sure you'll be welcomed with open arms with the
Go
Knicks.
back to Kentucky.
Or go back to Kentucky, dude. If that's where you thrive at, go back there. It's fine. If this isn't for you, we want to know now so we can get it out of our way, get somebody in here.
And the sad thing is like, like it's who y'all wanted.
It is, and
So like you can't even blame the athletic director for not doing a search, because I think they did a search, but it boiled down to, the fans got who they wanted.
Yeah.
So you got to give them time. You got to give them at least to the end of next season.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people calling in saying, "I knew it was wrong from the get-go. I knew he shouldn't have been the one." But I bet you they were the same ones saying, "Oh man, we got KP. That was the recruiter at Kentucky. That's the only reason why Kentucky was good. He was recruiting them." But then when we get here, he gets one summer in a new day and age that he hasn't experienced before.
This is where I listened in on Kentucky sports radio or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
This was weeks ago when everything was still going shit in the bed. Um, from what I heard from him or from Matt Jones, which obviously he's got sources, so he knows what kind of how things work on the inside. Was Kenny Payne was the developer,
Mm-hmm.
and Orlando, Antigua, and Robic were more so the recruiters. More so Orlando, Antigua's the recruiter, main recruiter with Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Robic was the scouting guy, and then Kenny Payne was the I'll be here all night long with you guys to train, the developer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that right there was three guys with defined roles. So maybe we thought Kenny was recruiting, which I'm sure he did a little bit, but maybe it's not to the level that we thought
Mm-hmm.
that he was doing the recruiting. I mean, if he can develop, that's great. But at the same time, you can't be there till 3 a.m. every day developing your guys because that's your job, but it's not your job.
Yeah.
As the
Your
head
job
coach,
is
it's not your job.
there's there's no more X's and O's guys necessarily. I feel like in college basketball anymore. It's all who's the slick talker, who can get the players to come there. The last X and O's guy, which I heard it said before, is Tom Izzo. That is the last big time X's and O Hall of Fame coach that we have. Bill Self, I don't feel like he's an X's and O guy. I mean, obviously he knows what he's doing because Kansas is good, but look who he has on his team. It's usually a top 10, top 15 recruiting class. So he knows how to get players there, even in all the trouble they're in. He knows how to get players there.
And he can keep them around for a little bit. Like he
Yeah,
doesn't like most of his guys don't bolt after 1 year unless they're extremely good, but they'll be there for a couple
he probably
years.
tells them straight up, dude, you're not going to make it at the next level unless you stay another year. Like, why? Why? And now he has even more incentive. Dude, you're going to make what you would make next year in the NBA. You'll make probably more than that here, and you're developing your stock. So why go to the NBA right now and flame out after a year or two?
Flame
So
out or like end up in the G League making less money than you'd make on the NIL deals in college.
exactly. So, you know, more positive for KP in Louisville. He did get a commitment from a JUCO product. We don't know much about him. He is averaging 26 points a game. Koron Davis. I believe I'm saying his name right, but we got a JUCO product, same as what L. Ellis was a few years ago. I'm really hoping this is a first step and not just KP's big step saying, look what I got here. No. We need a big man that's going to be here and actually do what we want in a big man. We have Sidney Curry, but he's gone. We have BHH, but we're starting to see he's not that big guy presence you need like an Oscar Sheedway. We need a big guy like an Oscar Sheedway. Unless Emmanuel Okafor is going to be that guy, we don't know yet because we haven't seen him play. But we're going to need that. I mean, next year's recruiting class, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. We do have Caleb Glenn, who's a hometown kid coming here. So we have some promise for you, KP. Now let's go out there and pick some kids from the transfer portal. Because we're a month away from knowing who's going to be in and who's not going to be in. I mean, if you can get some low D1 guys, FCS level, or see if I don't know, EKU, Bellarmine, WKU, get one of their best players and tell them come to Louisville, take that step up to Louisville, and we got to do something, man. But it's
See, I don't want to disagree, but I'm gonna disagree a
mm-hmm.
little bit. From stay away from the mid-major guys that aren't completely proven.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't go pluck anybody off EKU, Bellarmine, who we plucked Antonio Reeves from Illinois State. But I mean, the dude had scoring numbers, 26, 28 point per game average.
Yeah.
Like that'll fit anywhere if you're a scorer like that, that'll fit anywhere.
Well,
And
my prime example was WKU's
McKnight,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the kind of guy you want to plug. And that's where I'm thinking he needs, hey, you can transfer again. the regime that was here that didn't recruit you because you went to Shelbyville and was, I think, in the running for Mr. Basketball, they didn't recruit you. Well, look what I got now. Look what you can come do at this level. I mean, you proved it against us already. You proved it against some good competition so far. WKU doesn't just play sleeper teams; they play some good teams. I mean, at the time they lost to us, they were 8-2. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, the Conference USA is not bad. I mean, you got some quality teams in there.
yeah. So my thing for KP is you're going to probably have to go. Not probably. You will have to go plug some people, man. And so, that's Louisville basketball. We do have another game tomorrow, the 28th, January 28th. We play against Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm not expecting too much from this game. I'm hoping it will be close, kind of like the BC game. Maybe keep the momentum from that first half going, and let's just keep it close, man. Keep it close. And like I said before, and play Emmanuel Okafor and Fabio Basili, please.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers for Karan Davis, that you guys just got in, his numbers look good. Shoots 40. He's shooting 49% from the field, 37% from three, 82% at the free throw line. There's 25 points a game. I mean, here's the thing. He identified this could be positive. This can make you feel. He identified this kid, and within 10 days of he was offered a scholarship by paying staff just 10 days into his recruitment. So he identified, went, and got him. That's who he
My
identified.
only question is, who else gave him a scholarship? I know. I mean, I'm not saying to look it up, but it's like, if he's really good, if he is really a stud player that is like a game changer that we need, somebody else has to be after him too. It can't just be us and say, we got him. Like, okay, you got him, but who else wanted him? So, hey, I hope Karan Davis is going to be a stud. I really do. I hope he is. I hope he changes the wave some way, somehow. Hopefully he can. But if you're telling me Duke wasn't fighting for him, if Kansas wasn't going after him, if Kentucky, Texas, and the big time teams weren't going after him, and we won that battle, then I mean, hey, cool. We got a JUCO product.
Yeah,
that's just a sad. Yeah. It's just a sad fan trying to be sad, so I'll be happy. Great job, KP. You got 2 people in 2023. Now let's make it, go into 5.
You got Caleb Glenn. You got some dude from Michigan.
No, I'm saying kids that you got to commit in 2023, the year 2023. Okay. Yeah. Not class 2023, but you got 2 kids to commit to us in 2023 so far. It's the same amount of wins that you have on the season. So let's let's just get some more guys in here, please and thank you. But I'll get off my soapbox for Louisville basketball. I know it was a lot for you all to listen. You probably skipped through, probably said, all right, I'm done listening to this, but football is doing its thing. We should get some recruiting news from a local talent, William Spencer Jr. He's a defensive lineman from New Albany High School. He has scholarship opportunities with UK, Louisville, and Michigan State. That's who he's going to make his selection on February 1st. So we'll definitely be tweeting that out once he makes his commitment, no matter if it's to Michigan State or, one of the 2 teams that we represent. So hoping he stays local because he's a local kid. So hopefully.
Technically, Kentucky's still local.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. Hopefully he stays local to the state, but hopefully he stays local to where,
I will say, though, he was in Lexington last weekend, and he was at that A&M game. Mm-hmm. And then I know he got taken to KS Bar and Grill. Mm-hmm. He had a shit ton.
Oh, you got illegal drinking going on, huh?
No, it's a sports bar. It's just like B-Dubs.
Yeah.
There. I mean, the football coaches got it in good with Matt Jones at KSR. And I mean, what better place to take your recruits to get recognized than the place where every Kentucky fan in Lexington goes to eat and whatnot. I mean, who knows?
Huge. This is huge, like recruiting battle. Like this is how it will be going forward. Yes.
Brom is going to recruit locally,
Yeah.
and Stoops and Marrow have been recruiting this area the whole time.
So this is like the first, I guess, what
The guy that
DJ
committed,
Wagner was. This is the first football DJ Wagner for Louisville and Kentucky. First battle between
I
Louisville
would
and
say big time, big time. I don't know. There was a offensive lineman from Taylor County,
Kentucky.
either committed today or yesterday
Yeah.
to Kentucky, but I know Jeff Brom was recruiting him too. But I don't, 3-star offensive lineman. Um, I don't know how much that was a big time battle and how much Brom made up from just now getting here.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but I mean, I could have seen the writing on the wall because that kid was calling in. Yeah, I remember it was like over winter break or something, I think. And that kid called into KSR that I was listening to while he was like duck hunting or something. At that point, I was like,
I think you
wait,
could tell where he was
you
going.
could tell who it was going,
Yeah.
kid from the middle of Kentucky, I mean, he's, probably going to choose there. But I mean, I think this will be the first big time recruiting battle between the two,
Yeah, for sure.
which is going to be fun to see. So,
Well, we're excited. We're excited. We got a lot of reasons to be excited around here. We got the playoffs this weekend. Kentucky can show that they deserve to be ranked and are actually heading in the right direction, going against Kansas tomorrow night. Louisville show a fight tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. We enjoy doing this with you all, and keep checking out all of our content. Again, please give us the feedback. We appreciate it always. And check out John Captain Hook's podcast, Cheap Pop Wrestling Podcast. I believe they come out every Thursday, so look for his content. We always repost it as well. But thank you all. Tstalls out.
Drizzy's out. Thank you.